Hello and welcome to this short video tutorial regarding our TwinCAT Scope. Today I want to show you how to superimpose curve sequences of signals to compare them by using a restart display trigger. For this purpose, I have already recorded a motor current curve with the help of some subsafe triggers. In such way, the record represents my comparison sequence already, and so I can directly generate from the recorded data my kind of offline sequence by the help of the curve creator. So if I open the curve creator, you see again this sequence. In my case, it is fine, so I don't like to manipulate it, and I can directly save it again. He recommended me a sampling time. This is a previous sampling time from the record, and I agree with this. And then I have in my data pool this offline sequence. I rename it now here. I call it old, and then I'm able to reuse this offline sequence also in new recordings. So you see here my second configuration. There are no data inside, and so I can add now this offline sequence. As I said, I like to show you a restart display trigger. Then we can later see how the different signals are under each other. And so I add now here my trigger, and I choose a trigger action, so the restart display trigger, and I like to clear the display always by each trigger event, and so I choose this option as well. And then I go to the channel trigger set, where I can set my threshold for the event, and I can choose also my variable. The variable has to be part of the, at least of the data pool, or as an interpreted acquisition here in the charting. I choose the job start acquisition, and then I can start the record, and you see the data is recorded in our chart, and now we are waiting for the first trigger event. So if a new job is started, like now, then we clear the display and see the new data of since the beginning of the new job. But of course, I like to make now this superimpose of curve sequences, and therefore I open the layer editor. In the layer editor, I can choose a chart where I like to work. I choose here my YT chart, and then I can set my anchor point of the signal. And you have different options here, timestamps and so on. You can have specific trigger events, but you can choose also the trigger group. And with the trigger group, you can decide automatically, take always the latest trigger group, or the latest -1, or the latest -2, and so on. And I decide here with the 0 for the latest trigger event. Then I can add now my layer, and for the layer I can, you can see directly here there is an additional curve now in the display with a bit of opacity, and but this what does it mean, this curve? This curve is now at the moment by default a custom timestamp, so you can see it is possible to overlay the current curve with data from this record already, again with all the trigger events, all the options what you have also for the anchor point. But now I like to choose here my offline sequence from the complete other record. Therefore I switch here to the offline part, and then I can choose here my old motor current signal. I can set here my color, but also the opacity. And then if I see the next trigger event, I see in the background my offline curve, and the new curve is drawing over this offline curve, right? And then you can see in a graphical way, of course, the differences, but of course you can take also our marker tools and see that difference is more precise in the marker window. Yeah, that it is. That was it again. Thank you for watching, and yeah, see you soon. Bye bye.